Hey Pretty Girl Club, welcome to another Exotical Storytime. Be sure to email your story times to exoticalsunited@gmail.com. It's really exciting to see that all of us have so many commonalities in our stories, whether we are darker skinned exoticals, light skinned exoticals, whether we have type 3 hair, type 4 hair, biracial, multiracial, it doesn't seem to matter. All of our stories seem to have a lot of common threads. By the way, if you are new here, here is a picture. This is my Exoticals United poster. So these are examples of what I call exoticals. It's either being mixed or looking mixed. And a lot of times, if you fall into one of those two categories, you are going to be treated differently, especially by the African American community. This channel centers Blackness. So we do, as far as what we have in common, we all have our Blackness in common, and I do discuss the nuances that we have in our experiences, especially with the Black community. So with Black women, Black men, doesn't matter. So if you don't like that, please get off the channel, but we are never going to be silent because the Exoticals have united, baby. So let's go ahead and get into this story time. She says, "Hi Exoticals United, congratulations on your 11K subs. I enjoy watching your videos a lot. I am a light-skinned MGM, that means multi-generationally mixed, from Jamaica. I have 3C hair mixed with a little bit of 4A. I have a similar phenotype to Paola Locatelli, a mixed-race French actress and influencer. I am a Fenty shade 330. Okay, so definitely light-skinned. On this channel, we actually did a vote on what we are going to be calling light-skinned here in our community, over here in the MLS community. We voted on Fenty shades 390 and above as being light-skinned because once we started sharing all of our stories, we noticed that once you hit that 390 mark, that is when people start treating you funny. That's when people start making comments about your skin tone. That is when you are excluded from the colorism conversation, or people start accusing you of benefiting from colorism. So anyway, she says she's a shade Fenty 330, so very light skin. Growing up, girls have always been jealous of my hair and complexion. They would often make comments like, was it her real hair? And they would come up to me and ask me, and when I would say yes, they wouldn't believe me. So they would often try to touch my hair to see if it's real. I have two unambiguous Black female friends that go to the same high school as me. They often make comments about my complexion and say that I'm too light and I should get more sun. I remember one time I told them about my race, and one of them made a comment saying that my hair is not that loose and that it's not 3C, and she also said her auntie has hair like me, so it's not 3C. I've noticed that whenever somebody is jealous of a particular feature, they will try to tell you that you don't have that feature. It's the mindset of, if I can't be light-skinned, you don't get to be light-skinned either. If I can't have type 3 hair, you don't get to have type 3 hair either. If I don't have curly hair, you don't have curly hair either. And I've noticed that a lot of women do this because they're jealous. So yes, definitely jealousy here over your hair texture. I actually think that texturism is a bigger thing than colorism, because a lot of people, they refuse to talk about texturism. People are obsessed in the Black community with slaying their edges and having everything laid, and, you know, with hiding their 4C hair textures and trying to make their hair look as sleek as possible. Even if you look at how a lot of women dress on their weddings, their birthday parties, and special occasions, they are often trying to get their hair texture to be as loose as possible, and they will use wigs and weaves and stuff that don't even go with their natural hair texture whatsoever. So then they have to rely on gluing it all the way down to their foreheads, and people are ripping out their hair just because they want to be associated with having quote unquote good hair. But let's continue. She also said that anyone can manipulate their hair to get curls like mine. So once again, it's the you're not special talking point. Oh, anybody can have that curl pattern. You're not special. Anybody can have your skin tone. You're not special. You know, that sort of thing. That's just a humbling tactic. She said that anyone can manipulate their hair to get curls like mine, and one of them, who has short 4C hair, said that she also got her hair to look like mine. I've noticed that a lot of people, when it comes to jealousy over your natural hair texture, they get jealous at how straight you can make your hair look, I've noticed. Because even with my hair texture, I have a looser curl pattern, like a type 3. I would say maybe it's a type 3B at best, but generally speaking, it's pretty loose. And so if I do Bantu knots or whatever stretching hairstyle, it looks very, very loose. Like I can get it maybe to a type 2C depending on how I stretch it. And I've noticed that a lot of girls who have extremely kinky hair textures and they're also unambiguous, a lot of times they actually get jealous at your ability to stretch your hair and make it look like it's naturally that curl pattern, or, you know, like do a flexi rod set and then the flexi rod set looks like an effortless, like it's just your natural curl pattern, like a type 2C. I've noticed that a lot of women get jealous over your ability to stretch your hair, and then also it helps grow your hair and stuff. And so, yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of inferiority complexes there. But a lot of people also don't realize that you can be mixed and have 4C hair. But I've noticed that if you are mixed and you have like type 4 hair, people love to point it out and they love to say you need to get your hair done, or, you know, you look mixed except for your hair, or your hair is nappy. And notice how a lot of people love to use anti-black talking points against people who are not fully black. Anyway, let's continue. She said, I remember one day I came to school and I had my hair in a cornrow, and she was like, aren't your hair too loose to do cornrows? And then she said, aren't you scared that it's going to tear out your hair? And then the other said again that her hair is not that loose. The one with the 4C hair said, but she doesn't have black hair. And then the other girl sighed in defeat when she realized that my friend with 4C hair wasn't agreeing with her. Yeah, so she was trying to convince you and convince others that you were no different than them, and she failed. And I've noticed a lot of people, they will do this with things like hair texture, skin tone, facial features. They try to make it like, oh, you're just a regular black girl, as if it's bad to look black, or as if you can't be mixed and look black. She says, an unambiguous black guy in our friend group said, but she's black. My friend with 4C hair said, but she doesn't consider herself black. It's almost like they were forcing me to claim to be black alone when I am in fact mixed. I remember one time I posted my cousin on my WhatsApp status, who is also an MGM. One of my friends mentioned her in a conversation at school and said, your cousin is light-skinned, but not that light-skinned. And then he said, she's clear-skinned. My cousin has the same complexion as Madeline Mantalk. I'll try to find pictures and put them up if I can. But yes, I've noticed that a lot of people, they will try to humble you by comparing your hair texture to someone who has a looser hair texture than you. And I've noticed it's often mono black identified people who do this. So in order to humble the light-skinned girl, they'll try to compare her to someone who's even lighter than her. And in order to humble you if you have type 4 hair, they'll try to compare you to someone who has type 3 hair. I noticed that they did this kind of bullying with Doja Cat. She has 4C hair naturally, and people were like, oh, she's going to rip her edges out. Oh, you better not put those wigs back on, otherwise you're going to have no edges. Oh, Doja Cat shaved her hair because she hates herself and she hates having 4C hair. I noticed that they also did this to the multi-generationally mixed Zonique. She is the daughter of T.I. and Tiny, and people were like, oh, why is Zonique constantly wearing wigs and weaves? Is she trying to go with more of the light-skinned aesthetic? Because she doesn't fit the light-skinned aesthetic naturally because of her type 4 hair. So a lot of people, they want you to have the same inferiority complexes about your hair texture and your skin tone that they have. And they feel like the only way to give you those inferiority complexes is by comparing you to a fellow MLS person. Because they know that if they compare you to themselves, that's not going to work. So this is all just them revealing their own internalized inferiority complexes. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comments section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.